I suppose the question is, do we see any differences in terms of the generations, in terms of how they, lean into this topic and the rest of it? And I think it's quite clear that we do. I think, human beings, we're products of our time. We're products of the society that we live in. So, if you're a baby boomer, you're born in the post-war, era, and your thinking process and your attitudes and your values are determined by that environment you're brought in to, and that creates, and we don't want to stereotype, but you have pattern matching processes there around gender roles, around different ethnic groups, around disability and stuff like that. And actually, what we see through social change is that social change, our attitudes towards difference, has become much more liberal through the generations. And so, if you fast track up to the new generations, the Generation Zs and stuff like that, when you do things like social attitude surveys, if you ask them questions like, there's something called the British Attitude Survey, and there's questions like, would you be comfortable having somebody from a different ethnicity as your neighbour? Would you be comfortable if, somebody in your family married somebody of a different ethnicity? Actually, what we see through those surveys is that the emerging generations, to use a phrase, they're much more likely to answer positively to those responses than if we fast track back to the baby boomers. And so we do see at the conscious level, for sure, much more of a positive viewpoint on what diversity, inclusion, and equity means. And definitely at the conscious level, a lot of those old biases and stereotypes seem to be going away. But of course, what we still need to be doing is being mindful of what's going on at the unconscious level and how the heuristics are still being kind of wired in just through our, what we see in the media and the rest of it. So positive stuff, but let's not be too complacent.